to go through how to measure for a new chainring. So if you have to replace it, chainrings come in a lot of different sizes. You either got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts or 5 bolts, and then the spacing is going to change. So we need to dial in what spacing you have. So we're going to learn how to measure it. And then along with all the other information, how many teeth you want, how large do you want it, do you want easy pedaling, do you want harder pedaling, and so on. So either you're replacing your chainring because you're spinning out or you're having trouble climbing up the hill. So depending on what crank you have, either a road bike crank, you probably have 5 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4, so most likely this is going for a mountain bike. And they're going to measure in 2 different ways. They're going to have, terminology is going to be bolt center diameter. So if you were to draw an imaginary circle all the way around and then measure from one side to the other, which is going to be hard to do with this unit. And then there's bolt to bolt, so we're measuring closest bolt to closest bolt. So again, depending on what book or where you're getting your information, that may vary. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and measure bolt hole to bolt hole. And when I do this, I'm going to measure the farthest end to the right side of this hole, or my right, and then I'm going to go to the closest over here. So we're going to end up here on the right side of this one, and then the far right of this one. And I'm coming in at about 57. So that's going to round up or down just a couple. The number shouldn't be that close. It should fall in or be easy to round that off. And the other area we're going to measure is farthest hole to farthest hole. Always make sure your micrometer is zeroed out. And I'm going to go with these ends here. So farthest hole, I'm still measuring the same way. So if I'm measuring on the right side of the hole, I'm going to end up on the right side of the hole, flip that over, and I'm going to come in at about 80, 81 millimeters. So we're going to take that information. So I know that I have a 4 hole, which meaning I'm going to have a 4-arm crank, which is typical for a mountain bike. And then there's 5-arm crank more for road bikes. It's going to be a little bigger because you're running a bigger chainring. So when I did my bolt to bolt, nearest bolt to nearest bolt, I came in about 56, 57. So I got 56.6. And then just to line this up, we can also go from BCD, which is bolt center diameter. So that's farthest bolt to farthest bolt. And I'm coming in about 80, which is what I ended up with. So, and they're saying that's going to be for an inner MTB double, which makes sense on this one. So that's going to be it right there. What you may run into is most common, that's going to be listed if you're looking on websites and different companies, BCD, bolt center diameter. Very common, and this is going to be for, say you got a single or you have a double for a road bike. Even a mountain bike, you come in around 104 is pretty popular. 102, 104, 110. Those can be the most popular numbers right there. If you're lucky, there'll be some printing on there that'll just tell you right off the bat what you have, but sometimes you don't. 0611, that's nothing. This is, I think that says 39. So that's telling you 39T, so that's telling you how many teeth this chainring has. This one down here says use with blank only, so it's probably brand specific. If it's a SRAM or a Shimano, that's what they want you to use. Or also chain size is going to be another one too. So some of these chainrings can run 2 sizes. So say yours is a 10 speed, these chainrings may run 10 and 11, or if it's a 9, it'll run 9, 10. Just make sure you look for that info. Oh, and this one gives us the everything here. So we got 39 teeth all the way around. It's a 10 speed. And it doesn't give me 10 and 11, so we're just going to say possibly 10 speed only. True Vative, which is common with SRAM, and then 120 BCD, so 120 millimeters bolt center diameter. So that's going from, it's going to go from bolt to farthest bolt over here. That's our measurement, 120. So that's what we need to line up if we want to hang on to this crank set and match up a chainring to match this spacing. That's what we want there. So let's go look on the book. So if we look up here, we got BCD coming down. If we're looking for 120, boom, there's 120. If we come across, this is bolt center, bolt to bolt, and bolt to bolt would measure 84.7 if you wanted to double check and make 2 different measurements just to confirm you have what it. And then over here it says outer double SRAM. So very common, we got the smaller ring, usually known as number 1. If you have a second one, it's going to be number 2 or middle, or actually, sorry, double. If you got 3, then we got smallest, gear 1, middles, number 2, mid ring, and then we got the largest one, number 3. Largest one's going to get you pedaling when you're on a nice flat. Going to be a lot of resistance, but once you get up to speed, you'll be able to go a little faster. That's going to give you your freeway speed if you're in a car, or if you're in a decline, you can put it in that bigger gear in the front chainring, and you're going to be able to go a lot faster. Small ring is going to allow you to climb. So if you do a lot of climbs, if you're having trouble, you got bad knees or whatnot, you can try and go to a smaller chain ring. So you have to just look at your specs, do some research, see what's the smallest you can go for your crank set. If you can't go that small, you might have to get a whole new crank set, meaning a new crank arm, basically 2 crank arms that may come with new chain rings. So bigger ring, known for higher speed. Small chain ring, known for climbing. So you can play with that.